Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel. My name is Micah and today I am doing a quick get ready with me using some single shadows. I promised you that I was gonna go do this like once a month. It's like a mini series because I spent the past year accumulating quite a few single shadows and I just want to make sure I use them all on my channel so you can also see what they do. And today we are going to be featuring some Lethal Cosmetics and a few of the very shimmery, fun, duochromy, multichromy shades that I picked up and that I showed you in one of my recent videos. So that's what we're doing today. So on top of the eyeshadow, as you can see, I'm not really wearing anything yet. I've only put on some moisturizer, but other than that, no makeup yet, because I want to turn this video into like a get ready with me as well and chat to you about a topic, which is my take on like PR and how I deal with that, because PR is of course quite controversial at the moment, I think. And I sort of have my reasons for why I don't feature a whole lot of PR on this channel. And I just thought we could chat about that as we are going about doing my makeup. So let me put my hair up, got myself a hair tie, and then we'll get started. Because in this video, I want to focus mainly on the eyeshadows. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the other products, but I will make sure to list everything in the description box below that I'm using. Also good to know, everything that I'm using apart from the eyeshadows is currently in my Shop My Stash. So I also thought this was a nice two-in-one in which I can just chat, do my makeup, but also at the same time feature some products that I currently am trying to use or use up even. So let's just get started. So let me just dig into the topic that I want to talk to you about today straight away, and that is PR and sort of my take on it. And the thing is that I don't get a whole lot of PR. Of course, I'm a super small channel, so PR is definitely not something that, like, I'm not on a whole lot of PR lists. And I mean, I've been put on PR lists for my blog for a while now, but a lot of the press releases that I get sent just don't really inspire me. Like, it's a lot of skincare and I have very sensitive skin, so I'm a bit apprehensive about trying a lot of skincare. I'd rather just pick something out myself rather than a brand telling me like, hey, this is what's new. Very often it just doesn't really suit my skin needs, what brands are coming out with. Plus, you know, reviewing skincare takes me a good 2 to 3 months before I make up my mind, and I actually don't want to have too many things open as well at the same time, because I just feel that skincare expires a lot more quickly because it's like creams and liquids. So my philosophy with skincare is just to really use something up before I open up something else. I don't like having a lot of things on the go there. And just a lot of the makeup-y bits that I'm sent just don't really inspire me either. So my take on PR is that I will not request a press sample if I wouldn't already be interested by that product, if that makes any sense. So I haven't actually received any PR in like 2 years. I got a few PR bits for a while, for like a year or so. And then I moved and I just kind of like wasn't really inspired by a lot of the things that I was being sent. And I just kind of like never really gave any of the PR companies my new address. And I was like, nah. Because I just felt such a big pressure as well whenever I did receive PR. Like, there's a couple of like lipstick lines that I was sent from like a Dutch brand, and like I was sent this box filled with the Body Shop stuff like 2 years ago, I think, which was lovely. It was all of their Christmas stuff. But I do feel that it just really, you know, those brands want you to talk about it so people can go out and buy their products, which means that as a reviewer, you need to get the reviews out really quickly. And my turnover rate for reviews isn't that fast. Like, the amount of time, like for instance, the foundation I'm using today, I bought this last year and I still haven't reviewed it because there's just only one face and one person. And I mean, I definitely want to make sure that I give products a really, really good try before I start recommending something. And with PR, I find it is virtually impossible to do that because people expect you to not only get it out quite quickly, but to also sort of, you know, recommend it straight away, and it needs to be a full review. And I just, like, I need time to try out a product. Like a foundation like this, I want to try out at least for a week, and preferably during a work week, because then I can really see how something might wear. Like if I have vacation, I just do so much less in the day that I really can't tell whether a foundation will just, you know, stay put. If it's like a full week of teaching, like I'm about to have this week, I can really tell what a foundation does and how it wears throughout the day, because I'm talking all day. I need to use my facial expressions a lot. So if a foundation has a tendency, or a concealer, to really like pull into fine lines, I'll be able to tell that. I also ride my bike to work every single day. I work out. So like my makeup goes through the ringer in a regular week. So I just need it to last. And in order to really test that, I feel I just need the time to do that. And with PR, there's just so much pressure to get the reviews out as quickly as you can. And for me, that's just not the way I've ever run my blog. So it just, you know, it just made reviewing products a lot more stressful for me. And that's something that I just didn't really care for. So that's why I also stopped requesting PR for a while there. I had a very lucky encounter the other week, actually, with a brand contacting me and asking me if they could send me some products, which is actually the first time that's happened. And I've now received the product, so I hope to be doing a video about that sometime soon. And I mean, they were just like, you know, you can say whatever you want. The only thing we want is that you send it to us a few days in advance so that we know that you're linking to our website and like our socials in the way we would like to. So I do have to send it to them in advance. I haven't tried the products yet, so I'm not going to talk too much about this. But it's like the first time in 2 years, guys, that I've received any sort of PR. And it's just, you know, PR is something you can get sent, but you can also request it. I mean, you can definitely be put on PR lists and ask for things as well. And that's just something I'm really bad at, especially as you will see later this week, I will have my New York haul up. And I just much prefer saving up, and like if I go on a trip like my recent New York trip, to just have some money on hand and buy the things I'm actually interested in myself, rather than having to wait whether or not a brand might send me something. Especially because I'm in the Netherlands, PR is also a little bit more problematic. Like a lot of the major makeup brands are US based, and they just don't send anything to like a small YouTuber in the Netherlands like I am. Like they just won't. Like if they send anything to anyone here, it's going to be the larger channels as well. Like I'm just too small. I'm in the wrong sort of language area to be interesting for these brands. I've also been denied PR because I do everything in English and not in Dutch, for instance, because a lot of brands that send out PR in the Netherlands want people, like Dutch people, to buy it. So they would prefer to send it to Dutch bloggers and YouTubers and all that. So that's been a downside, definitely. Because like in marketing, it really seems to be like still this very traditional, like not global market. That's not the way it's seen. It's all very much segmented, and you will have, you know, different territories, and, you know, for instance, certain brands aren't even available here that I'm interested in, or they just don't even ship here, or we can get them, but it's all like marked up, or we get the products later. So it's always a little bit of a hassle, because just makeup companies in general are just not ready yet to send it to, you know, whatever it is that I'm doing on here. And I also try to not make this channel about shopping and the latest and the greatest and the newest and like what's out there. Because I really think that that is one of the things that irks me about YouTube the most. And channels like that only review like the latest and the greatest and the newest products, and they are only doing like first impression videos and things like that, I find that I will watch them if I'm very interested in a product, but very often I don't even subscribe to them because, yeah, I will only go looking for that review if I'm looking and interested in that actual product. But other than that, I kind of feel like I don't really need this, you know? So in terms of content, I've always been a little bit more about, you know, work with what you have, and it should not always be about like the newest stuff. The only thing I really chase down are like Essence and Catrice stuff, because that's just content that does really well on my YouTube channel and also on my blog. It's just like in my top 10 blog posts of all time, it's all like Essence and Catrice reviews. So I know that that does well in terms of like viewers and people just finding me in general, which is why I like to make that content. But that's drugstore stuff, so I don't mind going out and buying their stuff either. Like, I could be put on PR, and they usually like have these little pouches that they send out to people who are on their PR list. But very often when I've seen those videos, I would have to go out and still buy some of the products because they will only put in like one shade, or like if that's not my shade, especially if it's like a base product, then I just have an issue with that, because then I just feel I can't really test out the product all that well. But also, you know, they usually include a nail polish. I used to be totally into nail polish, but currently I don't really care about that. So then there already would be with like superfluous product. And that's, I think, another thing about PR that I find very problematic, is that you just end up with a lot of products that you may not always be interested in, that you just don't really care for, and that you just, I don't know, like that you would never use. Like if you see these really huge makeup collections on YouTube here, like where people have like all the shades of like a certain foundation, like very often that was all sent out. And while I understand why, you know, you get excited for that, etc., but I would not have any use for like 90% of a foundation line, because I tend to only have one shade in every single foundation that I have, and I'd rather try lots of different foundations so that I can try different formulas than having like a million different shades of the same foundation, if you know what I mean. I'm not a self-tanner, so it doesn't make any sense. With lipsticks as well, I did buy like full lines of like Essence and Catrice lipsticks these past couple of months that I've done videos on. But with that as well, like I just find it such a waste, because with some of those lines, like I will not keep most of it because I'm just not interested in most of the product that is there. And that's just, you know, that's just such a shame, because if you then, you know, look at what excess product you work with that you've used once in a video, so you can't pass it on to a stranger, you can't sell it on because you've put it on your lips, you've swatched it, so it's no longer hygienic. But yet you know you're not going to use it. So that's a little bit, you know, just something that I have issues with, and that's why I try to not do that very often. But again, those videos did really well compared to a lot of my other videos. So that's why I would be inclined, if they do come out with a new line of like lipsticks, that I would try for those lines. But especially from something like more high-end, I don't see why I would do that. It's just too much and too, well, wasteful as well. And there's, even though I have a lot of makeup, and I think that if you would see my entire makeup collection, that you would think that that is very wasteful to have so much makeup, because I definitely have more than I could ever use up. Like, I just do. It's just that I do really enjoy makeup and trying out different formulas, but that doesn't mean that I also don't go through the effort of trying to use everything that I have, if that makes any sense. But because I've purchased most of it myself, when it comes time to declutter or anything like that, it definitely sort of you know, puts a different perspective on what you would like to keep and what you would not like to keep, because it's just, you know, I did spend my own money on it. So then to get rid of your NARS Laguna, I mean, that's what I did in one of my previous declutters. I mean, you don't just go out and do that, because, you know, you spend your hard-earned cash on it, and then it's just not as easy to get rid of things. So yeah, when it comes to PR, I definitely try to be careful with what I do and don't request, and only if a product truly grasps my attention will I say yes to something like that. And I definitely don't foresee myself doing a lot of PR or like sponsored videos in the future, because I just really like to work with what I have, and as I said, buy products myself as well. Just that like feeling of going into a store and trying it out and deciding what you want to put your money towards. I think that that's really nice. So now that I've done everything to my face that I needed to do, let's do some eyeshadow. And I've got this Lethal Cosmetics singles palette that I made, and I have to say I already used all of these, and I was super impressed by the quality. And I think I want to pull in some of these greens here in this corner, because the eyeshadow that I want to use it with is going to be like a bluish green multi-chrome by Cliona that I will show you in a minute. But these are Lethal Cosmetics. They're a German indie brand, so if you're in Europe, you won't have to pay for customs, which is a great thing. And they do a build your own palette. So you get the palette and 12 shades, I think for around the 55 or 60 euro mark. It was, you know, and that's actually pretty good. It's not as affordable as ColourPop, but with ColourPop you do have to pay customs and shipping and all that. So this is definitely a pretty good deal if you're in Europe. And I like these so much that I've actually put more Lethal Cosmetics eyeshadows on my wish list for some point in the future. I definitely want to build myself another 12-pan palette with their shadows, because these are great. So I wanted to pull them into this video so I could show you how well they work. And then in a recent video where I played around with some new single shadows that I had, I built this one. This is a Cliona palette, and that I got with my purchase there. And then I just put all of these singles in myself. There's some JD Glow in here. There's some Luxie in here, some Divina, some ColourPop glitters. And then these ones are all the Cliona stained glass collection that I got. And I definitely want to go in with this like purpley, greenish, like it just shows up green I think here, but it's got like a blue, purple, green shift. It's called Oculus. So I thought I could put that all over the lid and just use the Lethal Cosmetics. Like I definitely want to use this like khaki shade I think, and perhaps deepen it up with a bit of like this tealy shade to sort of make sort of like a shape first, and use those on the lower lash line, and then go in with Oculus all over the lid. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. So let me zoom you in, and then I'll chat to you about some eyeshadow. So you're super zoomed in, so I hope I stay in focus like this. But I'm going to be using that army green shade that I just pointed out to you, and I'm going to put that in my crease. But hopefully you can see very well what I'm doing here. So I'm just using these shadows just to set it up and just to have something going on. This is going to be quite a dark look, because the multi-chrome that I will be using has a black base to it. So I'm just gonna use that all over the lid mostly, but I did want to put something in my crease just to have a little bit of something going on there. So there we go. I will make sure to list the names of these shades in the description box, because I completely forgot on what these are called. So that's a bit of a shame. But yeah, I will definitely make sure that I make that work for you, so that you know what shades exactly I used. And this is such a nice like darkish army murky green shade. I really love it. And as you can see, this takes no effort to blend, and still it has really great pigmentation. So I really, really like this. You've seen me do this a million times before, but I'm going to be taking this very wispy Zoeva brush, and I'm just going to take that along the edge of the eyeshadow I just laid down, just to blend it out a little bit higher, as you can see. That way I can really contour my eye, and you can even see the shadow when I have my eyes open, which is always a bit of an issue for me because of, well, some people call this hooded eyes, but actually they are just incredibly deep set because it's not my lid that is hanging over, it's actually my brow bone. It's just my eye structure. I can't really change that much, so. And I just feel that this always helps, using this step helps to really give it a nice blend. And I now see that I need to use a little bit more here. So I have to take it up very high up to the brow bone just to make sure that you can actually see that crease color here. All right, so now that we've done that, I'm going to be using another Zoeva brush. This is their Petite Crease brush, and it's a little bit dirty, so I'm also using this to make sure there's no other color left. And I'm going to be using that matte teal that is in this palette, just to do something fun in the outer V. And I sort of push the shadow into the crease. I think actually that these shadows may be a bit too light to go with Oculus because, as I said, that has a black base. But I hope that the multi-chrome will brighten it up just a tad. Alright, so now that I feel that that color is laid down, I'm going to go back in with that Cocky shade just to make sure that this is all nicely blended and I don't lose that shade all that much. So again, this is a nice technique. If you want to make sure you have a good blend, just go back in with your crease color, and that way you can really make sure that you blend everything very well. Now I'm going to be taking Oculus, which is this one right there. Ooh. I think that that works quite well. So this is Oculus, and it's actually going on a lot better than I had expected it to go. And despite it having a black base, like, I think it does look really pretty. It's just that shift. Yeah, you can see it when you move your head, but it's not as strong as it is in the pan. So I definitely think I do need to layer this a little bit. And I think now that I'm using it, I think I'll use this on the lower lash line instead because this is stunning. There seems to be something in my eye here. But yeah, this looks really pretty. Really nice, intense shimmer. And I do think that this needs a bit of finger action. So let me, like, maybe you can see it like this. Can you see that it shifts? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But it's super pretty. Oh yeah, with a finger, it definitely packs a bit more of a punch. So that's really nice. Yeah, and then you can see that shifting action a little bit better too. So this is definitely something that you do need to layer. I mean, you get good payoff right off the bat, but I feel that the effect is a lot more visible when you use your fingers. So there we go. I'm actually already quite happy with the way that looks. And as I mentioned, I want to use this on the lower lash line. So I'm going to go in with my smudger brush. Let me make sure I have a bit of a close-up mirror here. And this is going to be a challenge because it always is. Because I just want to use some more of these multi-chromes, I'm going to be using this shade as well, which I think has a bit of like a bluish flash to it. Again, I will list the name in the description box because I kind of forgotten what it's called. And I'm just going to use that in the inner corner real quickly, just to finish off most of this eye look. Ooh, this is nice. Can you see that? Oh, this is so pretty. And it has a really nice sparkle to it without it being like a true glitter. I believe this is one of their glitter multi-chromes, so it does definitely have like these chunky sparkles to them, but I do really like this. I mean, this is such a great fall look. I love it. Right, I don't remember where my camera was at before I zoomed you in, but I'm just going to make sure I set my face with the Urban Decay All Nighter. So I've been doing this before applying mascara because I found that if I do this after I apply mascara, my mascara just smudges everywhere, which is what I don't want. So let me quickly apply some mascara. And now I have just one more thing to do, and that is to apply some lipstick. This is the Catrice Power Plumping Gel Lipstick. Mine is currently looking this big because I've been using it so much. I do own other lipsticks, and I'm currently really into using other lipsticks, but with such a bold eye look, I think it calls for my favorite nude again. So here we go. And that would be the finished look. I also finished talking about the PR stuff right when I got up to this eye look. So I think this looks stunning. I know on camera it looks like green, but oh my, this shade brings out my eye color so well. I'm completely chuffed with it. This is a really, really good shade for me. I'm definitely planning on doing another one of these next month where I use all of the Shop My Stash products that I have in my Shop My Stash that month. And then of course I do want to play around with some more singles again. So let me know if there's anything in particular you would like me to use. Then that's of course possible. In case you are interested in these Clionadh shadows, for instance, they are doing a restock on Monday the 4th of November. So that's coming up very shortly. So in a few weeks time, they will be restocking their stained glass collection in case you were hoping to pick some of it up. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more by me. I make new videos 3 times a week. And I've got some lipsticks coming to you on Thursday and then a New York haul on Sunday. So I hope you would like to stay tuned for that. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!